now we get to meet our panel today, and I'm so happy to have you all here to shed some light on spinal cord injury awareness. And we also want to dig into what we can do differently, what we can do better in the future. So let's kind of start with anything you want to share about your stories. Either one of you can start.
I'll start. So my name's Erin Field, and I was injured in July of 2017. And Jack was there. He's my fiance and my caregiver. And we were up on the roof of my brother's apartment, and we were on a hammock, and one side was attached to a chimney, and the chimney collapsed on me. And that's what severed my spinal cord. It's kind of just a freak accident.
Right.
Nice. My name's Racheal. I'm 35, and in 2007, I was in a dune accident, four-wheeling in a truck, and we went down a 55-foot razorback dune, and I was bracing so hard for the impact that the whiplash made my neck break, and it resulted in a C4 complete injury, but I function as a C6 incomplete.
Again, another just accident that you can't prevent. It just happens, and here you are, and a lot of years later for you, a lot of years. So
yeah,
welcome everyone, and thank you for taking some time to share your stories with us. So let's start with spinal cord injury awareness. What does awareness even mean?
So I think that it means understanding the injury more. That is a lot more than just being in a wheelchair and not being able to walk, because I definitely didn't know anything about spinal cord injuries before I was injured.
Yeah, I think also awareness is also having the awareness of different laws and stuff that we need, so that way we can actually just somewhat live our lives in the world, in this world that's not like made for us.
Yeah.
I think also as a part of the awareness, both things are very important for sure.
And from a caregiver standpoint, Jack, what does awareness mean for somebody that's caring for somebody?
I think awareness for somebody who's caring for somebody with a spinal cord injury is not only understanding the physical barriers that they have to overcome during the day, but also the mental barriers that come with that as well. So kind of, understanding that the stuff that they do now, I don't really know where I'm trying to go with that, but
no, you made a very good point with, not just the physical that we can all see. Oh my gosh, of course, that's going to be a tough day for somebody, but the mental too, that we don't always see, that you go through. I love that you brought that up, because as a clinician, we have to keep that in mind too, because to us, we may have 5 other cases or 16 other cases on our mind when we go see you, and we're like, okay, let's get to it. Meanwhile, you've been through a trauma, and there's so much this isn't the 16th time you've seen this. This is the first time you've gone through it as a person with a spinal cord injury or a caregiver. So we have to keep that in mind too, and adjust to getting through all of that and the road to recovery. So I think that was a very good point. Let's talk about advocacy. I know that you do a lot of work with that, both of you. So what are some things that you see changing now, and things that you maybe want to see changed in the future?
I think what's changing now is that we're being people with spinal cord injuries or disabilities in general are being portrayed more in the media for sure, and social media has given us a huge platform. So with adaptive lines, that's been a big thing, having adaptive clothing and disabled models and stuff like that. So I think that's really great.
I would agree with Erin. I think Erin's best for this question. I always tell her that, because she has the biggest heart ever. And I agree with her. I didn't think being portrayed in the media would have that much of a change, but it does, because now I have noticed now that we have been seen more in the media, it seems like it's not as like crazy for people to see us out in public, especially. Like, I'm not getting some of the crazy responses I was getting 10 years ago where it was like, oh my God. And now it's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh, this is different.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't have thought of that, but that is, yeah, you would see it definitely different when you're out in public. You can see the
Yeah.
change firsthand,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
So with your work in the being the disability chair, Erin, and with being a law student, what are some things you're looking forward to in the future to work on?
So definitely a lot of things, but the fact that we can only have $2,000 in our bank account, and if you go over that, then you can lose all your benefits. That's a 30-year-old law, which is ridiculous.
Yes.
Trying to think of the other ones. There's getting married. Like, if me and Jack actually get married, like, I'll lose all my benefits. And then he can't get paid to be my caregiver. So that's definitely something that needs to be changed. And can you think of any more, Racheal? Trying to think.
That's
Um,
those are huge.
those are
Those are the two.
the big ones. Those are big ones. Or like how we can only make so much money like in outside work, but like at the same time, if like we can only make so much money, but we can only save so much money, or they'll take everything from us, but we also can't survive on our own to pay for insurance, the amount of insurance that we need every year. There's no way to pay for it. So you're like locked into, unless you can make a lot of money or have great insurance, you're stuck being poor. And
Yeah.
Can't be in that middle. You can't be in the middle.
yeah, and like I make a decent amount. I make $9.50 a month, but I don't qualify for $45 worth of food stamps. And it's crazy to me because I know able-bodied people who make even more than me, but they qualify for a lot more food stamps. And I'm like, something's got to change because I can't work full time. It was hard for me to work part time. Like, there's got to be something where we could make a little bit and they take away a little bit, instead of it just being, well, this is all or nothing. You either survive on your own or you don't.
Yes.
Like sink or swim. And it's like, I'm a quadriplegic. I can't swim. So
Yeah. And
Well,
also 900, even 950, like, and I think I make 800 something with my disability. Like, that's not enough to live on with like rent and food alone. No one can live on that. So you're forced into poverty.
yeah, especially because all right, that just went up recently. And like the last it had to be in the last year that just went up, because I know I've been making the same amount for over a decade and it just went up recently, and they had us surviving on next to nothing with no extra benefits because we don't have, some of us, I don't have children, so they won't feed me. Like, okay,
right.
cool.
But you have extra needs that cost as well. And then you have the normal everyday life stuff. So that makes total sense. So that is
Really
something,
frustrating.
that is something to fight for sure.
Mhm.
Is there any hope to that, or is it just in the starting stages?
I think definitely at least the cap, the $2,000 cap, I think that will change. I don't know about like disability going up just because they don't have any money.
Right.
So I don't think that will go up, unfortunately.
But allowing you to have more, if you
work
were
more,
able to, yes.
right? Like work more, make more money, and save that money. At least that would be something.
Definitely.
I agree with her. I don't think there's much hope because I don't think they care much about people that are on Social Security. I don't know about Erin, but anytime anyone finds out I'm on Social Security that's not also in the disability community, it's just weird how all of a sudden the way they speak to you and interact with you is different. Like, you're less than because you collect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you also are like ashamed about it, but you're like truly struggling. You're like, trust me, I have nothing extra. Like it's
Right.
not living
Yeah.
anything great.
So
Yeah, people definitely
shame on
treat it
them, actually. Shame on them, because it takes a lot to live for everyone. So I totally
Yeah.
get it. And I think that's part of the awareness for people like me that didn't know that, didn't know about the cap, and did not know about the marriage and how that impacts what you're
But we
already,
don't have
the
equal
limited
rights.
you're already getting.
Yeah.
Definitely not equal rights yet, for
Right.
sure. Because until we could get married without losing everything and being them forcing our partners to be our sole providers and sole taking care of, unless you want to hire someone outside, that's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy. Like it's 2023.
Yeah.
We're all independent adults.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the adaptations that you do need. I know, Erin, you have an awesome orbiter cushion. I am new to the cushion about just 9-10 months. I loved it, loved everything about it. Now I'm like, hey, I'm telling people about it. But tell us your experience with that or other adaptations that you and Racheal have to make.
Yeah. So for the cushion, I love the cushion because I can't really pressure relief. Like I'm not strong enough to push myself up. I can lean forward, but that's sometimes hard to do depending where you are. So for me, it's nice having the cushion when I'm out because it's constantly doing that pressure relief for me. I don't have to think about it. So, and it would be really great for people with pressure sores. I don't have one currently, but if
Thank
you
goodness.
did, that would be really, really huge. So, but what do you mean for other adaptations like things?
So things, just getting a shower, are there, like just your daily tasks, how do you adapt? And then I want to go into, and then maybe things that Jack has to do or your caregivers have to do to supplement in order for you to have an active daily life. And then I want to go into, back to the payer part, are there resources, anything out there for other people to get those things that you need? So kind of twofold.
Okay. So I recently bought a house in 2021, which is huge because we were able to make it accessible. I could have a roll-in shower that I could fit in and I could get under the sink. So just those little things really help my independence. But I still can't transfer. So I'm thinking about getting a lift, but for now, Jack helps me transfer and he helps me get dressed and he helps me shower. He helps me with everything. But Racheal is much more independent than me, so I'll let her tell you what she does.
I have a shower bench that I'm pretty sure is for a paraplegic, so it is all balanced. In fact, I was in there just my last shower and it was absolutely terrifying because I have to take extra baclofen. And I did that and it lowered my blood pressure and it made me paranoid. And I don't know about you, Erin, but when I'm scared, the worst thing I could do, especially in a wet shower, is to overcorrect and just eat it because sitting on that bench is literally complete balance. There is no room for rest or anything. You have to either hang on or it's all balance because I am sitting up so straight and there's such a small space to sit on. So I can't slouch really. So showers for me are kind of like a horror theme, I'm just trying not to die.
Scary. Yeah.
It's very scary.
Yeah. Hold on for your life.
But they don't always provide, like insurance doesn't always cover like a shower chair. Like I have a shower chair, but it doesn't have manual wheels. So like I couldn't even do it independently if I wanted to. Like Jack has to push me in it.
But shower chairs aren't provided by insurance companies. And I was like, why? And they said, because showers are not a necessity. You could do a bed bath. And I was like, okay, well, how much does a shower chair cost? They're thousands. They're expensive. Like, but we're not allowed to make that much. And you're never going to save that much. So bed baths it is, or I have to sit on this little bench and hope that I don't fall and like break a hip. Like that's just is what it is.
Yeah.
And And bed baths are not conducive to skin integrity, and you have to be so conscious of your skin. So
No, but they make more money if we're sick, so.
True.
unfortunately,
Sorry, but that's how it feels.
No,
That's
yeah,
literally how it
this
feels.
is real life. I want you to be real.
Yeah,
That's-
it's been,
So you haven't found any resources out there so far to help with things like that?
I mean, there's probably resources. It's just no one tells you about them. So I'm sure there's resources, and maybe I should look. I just never think of it because, listen, I'm like 16 years paralyzed, and unfortunately, I did 12 years of like clinical depression, and so I'm very cynical about being in a wheelchair. I just assume that there's no help because that's all I knew in the beginning. Because when I was first injured, you think 2007, you're like, that's not too long ago. In spinal cord injury years, that's a lifetime ago. The amount of stuff that's out now and the information that's out now is like light years ahead of what it was when I was first injured. And I wasn't even injured that long ago. It's crazy. So yeah, there probably is stuff out there to help you with, just no one tells you about it. And I guess some people shoot themselves in the foot like me, and I'm just like, there's no help. There can't be because nothing works.
And it sounds like you're wanting to be as independent as possible too. So I'll take it on and do it myself.
Yes,
I
and
can
that's
see that
exactly
too.
what I do. Yeah.
And I know now that there's honestly, I can only think of like a couple grants. Because like some of them, they're just not active anymore. But like I can think of maybe one grant that would maybe cover a shower chair or a bed, but like the chances of you getting it, like you might get it, sometimes they'll give you partial money for it. So it's just like it's not always easy to get the grants for equipment.
And with a lot of things, it's state specific, even
Yes.
county specific. Different counties have different resources too. So just wondering what you all knew about as I'm learning and as our viewers are learning. So I'd like to shift gears a little more and go to what a day in the life looks like, and how does it feel to be a law student, and how does that look? And then adapting the workouts for people of all abilities. I want to hear more about that too.
So for me, I got into a few law schools, but I want to get into one closer to home. So I haven't started law school yet, but that's hopefully going to be next fall.
Yay.
So right now, I'm just, I don't know, my schedule is always kind of different depending on if I have like appointments and stuff. But I try to, I'm also starting an app with my brother. So that's like a whole thing for the disability community called the 10%. So I work on that a lot. And then me and Jack, like I'll try to do a lift every day. I'll try to stand or do my stim bike. And then that's actually how I met Racheal, was because I started doing her adaptive workouts, and she kind of taught me how to lift a couple years ago. So
Nice.
She's my best friend. I love her.
Yay. So I talked about resources, and you're both resources, so that for each other, that's great.
Yeah, I used to work for Zook. Oh, wait, did Erin finish?
yeah, you go.
Oh, I was like, I just interrupted there. I used to work for Zook Fitness, but they're not, as far as I don't know if they're still filming. I think they're still running though. So there's still videos and stuff going up. So I'm not doing that anymore, but it was very interesting. I just took the job because it fell into my lap, and I was looking for work, and I was like, oh, I love working out, and that's what I'm known for in my community.
Yeah.
And I do research it a lot. So I was like, I'll do it. So I did it, and it was a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be because I didn't realize, and so like still 16 years in, I'm like, oh, now to learn a new thing. But it was very fun, and it opened up my workouts because now I'm like, oh, there's so much stuff out there for us to do. You just have to figure out, you have to have a problem solving brain to try to figure it out. So that's been interesting.
Yeah.
And that was streamed through social media, or how did you find it, Erin? How did you find Racheal?
I think found it on social media. I don't know about now, but I did like a membership on Zoom Fitness like website, and then from there you can access like all the videos, workout videos.
Great.
Yeah.
And then there's cycling involved. What else do you all do?
I think it depends on each, you mean with the job with Zook?
Just in general, what do you do to live that active life? I know you're both trying to be as active as possible. So what are some things that help keep you active?
I'm trying to be more independent, so I'm trying to learn how to transfer. Like that's why I'm kind of lifting more, as I really want to get stronger so I can transfer myself. I'm trying to push a manual wheelchair, so I work on that inside, sometimes outside, take my dogs for walks, stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I do.
How Erin should have started it was working out and physical therapy a lot. Like, because even when you're not saying, let me go lift, just life in general is physical therapy of like trying to navigate just everyday things that you would never think of, like opening a pill bottle. That's interesting. Or making yourself something to eat and dropping it on the floor when you're done. That's fun. Like things like that. So it's like very hard to be very independent. It is rewarding though. And I think that is the easiest way to like ward off depression and stuff for sure, is to at least work at it. So being independent and living an active lifestyle. I think active lifestyle looks more like what people just do in their regular day-to-day activities. Because I know with me, day-to-day activities like cleaning up the kitchen after dinner and stuff, like, and just doing, just getting ready for the day. All of that stuff, maintaining my home, because my boyfriend works 12-hour shifts, but he drives 2 hours there and back. So he's gone all day and he's gone all night. He works at night. So I am alone all the time. And my whole life is taken up by like these little activities I didn't even think was going to be. I miss living with my mom.
Yeah.
She did a lot.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't do
It's on you.
like, I don't do all the stuff Racheal does. So I don't do, or I haven't learned how to do laundry or cook and get dressed. Like
Don't learn.
yeah, hopefully I'll learn, but I don't. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know how she does it, because it's so much more time consuming. Like that, how do you get like other little things done in the day when like getting dressed is such a chore, you know?
And postural fatigue is a thing. It's a real thing. Just yes. So
I've been foregoing eating and I've like lost too much weight now because I'm like, I don't have time to get everything else done and to eat and clean up the mess because I live in an apartment and I don't want ants. So I literally forego things.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you not to do that anymore and at least have something easy for protein.
I know I gotten protein shakes and my mom boiled me some eggs so that way at least it's fast and I could just reach in and eat it because I won't do it anymore.
But I mean, you're being honest. It's real life. Like it's exhausting to go do that for yourself.
You want clean underwear tomorrow or do you want to eat? You know, I mean, because just folding one load takes energy. 1 hour. Yeah. And yes. And so you have to like, I'm like, okay, what are the most important things that I have to get done? Those are what I'm going to do first because I'm going to run out of energy soon. So
prioritize. For sure. And then Jack, what do you do for yourself?
I know it's easy for me to kind of put my, health and stuff on the back burner, just, because it's just like having, a job where you're just putting all your effort into. So at least, trying to get, as Rachel was talking about, like eating enough, making sure I get, good meals and I'm not just, putting together a snack and everything like that. Staying active. So, trying to at least get a couple workouts in a week. And it take some time for myself, whether it be like 30 minutes or an hour, if it's, I wake up and Erin's not up yet, just to kind of have like some alone time almost.
Good.
Because if not, you just kind of get wrapped up and you feel like you're burning the candle at both ends and you just feel kind of get that burnout. So I think, from being a caregiver, just being able to set some time aside, stay active. And when you start getting tired, like tired from not moving and stuff like that, just to kind of do stuff, because if not, you just kind of, stay pretty stagnant and don't really do anything for yourself.
Yeah. And Jack, like I feel lucky because Jack eats really healthy and cooks healthy stuff. So that makes it a lot easier for me because I just eat what he makes.
Right. Yep. And I think if you keep that up, Jack, that is huge, because I think that's a really big pitfall for some people. They, when you're caring for somebody and you care so much, whether they're your fiance, your sister, doesn't matter who it is. It could be somebody you don't know that you're the caregiver for. There's a big pitfall. And I think the things that you suggested are huge. So keep doing those, because taking that time for yourself. And I like if she's sleeping, that's just good time for you to do that workout on your own or whatever. I think that's really smart. And it'll go a long way for both of you all. That way you do have your quality time too.
And that's also why I was thinking about getting a lift, because I can't transfer. And like, I know it's probably not good for him to forever be picking me up and moving me. And like, what about if he gets hurt or if he's sick? Like, so I've been thinking about that stuff. So.
Well, we're going to look into some resources and see if there's something out there too, because I'm going to look into that too before this airs. So maybe we have something to share that's out there, because it's hard to find all the information that's there. And if there's not anything, we need to work on that too as part of the advocacy. All right. Well, we've talked a lot about the serious side, and it's the real side. But what are some things you do for fun? And then I want, Racheal, for you to end us up with what you do for your social media content. I do content development too, so I want to hear about that last. So what do you all do for fun?
I'm like trying to think. I love being home. So like that sounds kind of lame, but like it's just nice to be home. But this summer we did do a lot of stuff. Like Jack and I traveled a lot, and like I was at my friend's wedding, and we got to be by the lake and go to the beach. And so I do love doing all that stuff, but also just love being home and like doing my workouts at home, and like maybe swimming in my pool or like going in the hot tub, like, and just walking our dogs, like little things like that. Like that's fun for me. So
yeah, let's talk about the water, because a few people that I have met with spinal cord injury, they really love being in the water.
So I can't swim on my own, but that is a goal, just because I know some quads that can, so that makes me want to learn. But it does feel really good to be just in the water in general, because you have no pressure on you at all. It's just like really nice.
Jack and Racheal, what do you do for fun?
Jack's probably way more funner than I am, because I'm going to answer the same thing as Erin, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this in there. I think part of the reason why we like being home is because everything we need and the world is adaptive to us as much as possible as we can make it. And I don't know if it is for her, it's my comfort zone. So whenever it's not good for me, but I am bad about leaving my house and doing things like that. Erin's much better at doing it than I am, but I kind of dread it. I'm like, I'll put on a brave face and be like, yeah, we're gonna have so much fun. I bet you there'll be no accessible bathrooms.
Right. You have to think of everything.
Yeah, so I kind of dread it sometimes. I'm like, hey, here we go.
It's hard, and then you get exhausted, and then you get home and you're just like, this is so nice because everything's easy. So I get it.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's definitely it's fun going out places and stuff. But when you get home, you definitely have a big sigh of relief. But I'm not really like able to go and do stuff, like, be independent and go and do stuff by myself for, hours on end and stuff like that to have fun. So I'm trying to find stuff at the house. Like I've started gardening out back a little bit, kind of have a couple like house projects and stuff like that. So in terms of like adapting, I just kind of had to, I like to be pretty active. So with Erin's injury, I just kind of had to adapt and how to find out how to have fun without, having to go too far, I guess.
Right.
And then my mom is going to be moving here, which will help. And hopefully Jack will have more time if he wants to like go and do stuff with friends or family. More spontaneous, because that's with me and Racheal, like being like this high level of injury, it's really hard to be spontaneous because it's just a lot of planning and a lot of packing.
Sure.
Yeah, the most spontaneous things that happen is like your bag leaks, and that's spontaneous for us. And that's as spontaneous as we want it, because it's too hard to be spontaneous now.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah.
I get it. So, social media content, what are you doing there, Racheal?
I always hear of my friends in our community like talk crap about our disabilities. Like, man, I hate this. Like when we're alone, we'll complain about the things we hate about it. And like, we don't sugarcoat it for regular people out in the real world, where we're not like, because people will be like, oh, what happened? Like, how's life after injury? You don't go into like, oh, you want to know how it is? Because it's not fun. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I'm living my best life. You try to put so I stopped doing that in these videos because I've seen people making them for their dog or their kids, and they're like being really very real, very raw, and very honest, but with a positive, funny spin on it. And I was like, man, no one's done that for like mental health or like any injury or sickness that I've seen. That would be such a good idea. Maybe I should do that. But I sat on the idea for about a month because I didn't know how people would take it. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. So I did it, and people are like, this is awesome. This is exactly how I feel. I definitely feel like my injury bullies me. So I love that we could actually hear it firsthand. And everyone likes it because I also educate the public, but I do it funny. So it's not so like, I don't get as many comments when I do transfer videos, and I hear a lot, I'm so sorry, like, stay positive, because they assume that I'm depressed and I hate my life and stuff. But the Tanya videos, they're like, I love this content. Even able-bodied people are like, this is awesome. This is amazing. Keep doing it. I want to see more videos. And I'm like, oh, I get more interaction with those videos, and they're more positive interaction. Not that people are negative, but like people have more positive outlook on disabilities.
Right. It's just, it is what it is, and it's true. And they don't have to end it with, oh, you poor thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, she obviously thinks like, because I've always used humor for trauma, like it just puts a nice little Band-Aid over it.
You're very real.
Yeah, and it's cool because it is still advocating in a different way, and it's like that's going to reach certain people that aren't going to care about maybe the way I advocate, which could be more boring sometimes.
Right. You're a good balance, the two of you, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That is good, because sometimes I think I'm like, am I doing something positive, or like, is people going to see it as a big joke at the end of the day? Because that's definitely not what I want people to be like, oh, it's not that hard, she's making light of it. It's like, no.
But I think the disability community definitely, like, I feel like understands dark humor. So I know the community, like, that's big for everyone. So I think everyone loves that.
Any other avenues for that community feeling? I know social media is probably great for that, but do you find where, you're creating the content, but sometimes maybe you need something? Are there things for you to feel that community too?
I feel like in the beginning, like I definitely looked on YouTube a lot, and I did find like stuff on YouTube, like small things like doing your makeup and stuff like that is what I looked for in the beginning. But there was a lot of things that I couldn't find, like how to use my phone. Like I couldn't find one video about that, and I thought that was crazy. So I think that's when I started like reaching out to people on social media and Instagram and trying to talk to people that had been going through an injury for a long time.
I think I was a little late to the game with networking, but it was the same thing as when I was like, how do I do this? And like, physical therapists only know things from their point of view of a walker, you know what I mean? And no matter how much they want to, it's hard for them. A lot of them will get in our wheelchairs and they're like, sit there and try to really think about how we're moving our bodies. But at the end of the day, it is easier to go to someone who's similar injury level and be like, how do you do this? Yeah. And they'll be like, this is what you're missing. You need to do this. And then all of a sudden you conquer it in one try and you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I've been practicing
Yes.
for 3 years. And so same thing with Erin, is I was on YouTube looking for disability videos, and there are certain things, but I think because we've been looking for that stuff, people are posting that stuff now, which I thought was interesting that you said that, because I'm like, it's funny because now you could find those videos, or you can at least go ask someone and they'll shoot a video of them doing it, but you can almost find every video on Instagram now.
But like 5 or 6 years ago when I first got injured, there really wasn't that much.
No.
And a lot of disabled people won't respond to you if you're newly injured because they don't know if you're a real account, because you haven't had stuff posted. And, there's just a lot of like fake accounts in the disability community and devotees and that whole thing. So like, that's frustrating as
Sure.
well.
I'm glad that's getting better, because I can see where exactly what you said. There's people that they've done the trial and error ahead of time, and now they're able to help you not do that for 2 more years. So
Yes.
yeah, learning from each other is huge. So let's do some final thoughts and then we'll close up. And I just want to say thank you so much. I have the viewers putting some questions in the chat box, and we'll get those answered and get those emailed out if there's anything that I can come back to you all and ask about. But let's give some final thoughts.
Okay, thank you. And if anyone ever wants to reach out to me, injured or not injured, I'd love to answer any questions. So
Okay.
I love to educate, love to help.
Good.
Thank you also, and remember to not give up, because it's really, really hard, and it like for a lot of years it's hard in the beginning, but it does get better, and then it seems to pick back up again. So don't ever give up, because it does get better.
And Jack, last thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Erin and I and Racheal. And I guess just keep people with spinal cord injuries in my mind in terms of advocacy and
And caregivers.
And if you're someone's caregiver or someone in your family has an injury or something like that, just remember that they're going through a lot more than just physical stuff. So kind of have to help, just give as much help as you can.
Yeah, no, that's very good reminder. And I appreciate you all so much sharing your stories, sharing the raw, sharing the real. And we appreciate it, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I did find some resources to help, and they will be part of the recording that goes out, and then when we put it up for on demand. I did meet Sunny from Help Hope Live at the American Occupational Therapy Association annual conference. So I had her information, and then I found some more information online. And if they don't have what someone's looking for, the people I contacted, they also have resources. And the last one here, the info pages, has just tons and tons of different links, so you can kind of look and see what's needed, and then find the resource related to that. And Erin and Racheal both wanted to share their information so that you can look them up, follow them, and see how they're doing with different things. And with Racheal and her stories and her take on things and her humor, and then with Erin, the advocacy and her journey. So there's different ways here, the Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, that we can follow them and stay in touch with them. And they both love for people to reach out. And I think this is a good way. So I was happy that they were able to share their information, and we'll make sure that you all get that as well. And then you did hear us talk about the cushion, the orbiter cushion. There's so much that Kalogon's doing right now, and so many innovative ideas are coming to fruition. So please stay in touch with us and look us up and follow us on social media so that you can keep up. So many awards for this year, and just Kalogon's really doing great things to help people. So you can also send us a request for an in-service. Maybe you want an in-service for your team and you want to get together and learn more about seating solutions and smart seating solutions. You can contact us at education@kalogon.com. And then we have our on-demand library, and this one will go up into that library. And I think this real story about two people living with spinal cord injury and having Jack's perspective as a caregiver, I think it's a really good topic and really good information to have there. So we'll have that. And if you have topic ideas, make sure you also check us out and email any ideas that you have for different topics for discussion, for we're going to do little mini videos for social media, and just to get the education out there, the information. And like we did tonight, just really focus on that awareness, which is huge. So thank you all for joining. We appreciate it. We appreciate our panel. They did such a great job just telling us about a day in the life, and we'll make sure that this gets out, and also the solutions, because like they said, you don't always know what's out there for the different resources. So we want to be a part of that change and do our part and make sure we put that out there. I'm going to check the chat, see if we had any. United Spinal Association has many resources. Okay, I will add that on there before this goes out.